Well, hello everyone. Like I said, we had some technical difficulties. Kia's about to get on here pretty soon. I just wanted to take the moment to introduce myself and thank you all for following the page. Like I said, my name is Dav. Um, I started Semicolon the series basically as a way for just an outlet for people in I want to say the African American community. I want them to feel though this is a safe space for them. Since mental health is like never really talked about in the black community, that's why I created this safe space so that way we can have this outlet, we can have these conversations that aren't being had. So before we start, I want to talk a little bit about our guest, Kia Smith. She's a very creative and dope person. She is. Oh, wow. Technical difficulties for real. Sorry about that. She's a dope person, and she's coming out with a book that releases this Friday. So I'm actually about to add her on right now. So give me a quick second as we wait for her to join. There we are. Okay. Hey.
Hey,
So happy to have you. I'm so sorry about the delay, guys. Kia, do you want to tell the people what happened and why
I
we?
mean, you already told my business.
Yeah. So apparently, Kia's fuse blew out because she was trying to look cute for you guys. So that's what took her so long.
I mean, I feel like I'm already in quarantine. I've been the hairdressers is following the government. Most of them are following the government's instructions. And I was in the middle of blow drying my hair or whatever, and I had on my speaker because I was playing music, and I blew the fuse. And at first,
Oh,
I did not know where the fuse was in my apartment, so I had to go all the way down to the basement, and I didn't know which one was which, so I just flipped them all, flipped them back,
you
and I
just cut
came
off
back
everybody
upstairs, and
else's
everything
power.
was working. So here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Well, welcome. I'm so happy that we have you here today. Um, so just go ahead and tell people briefly about yourself, and then we can get into our COVID conversation per se.
COVID conversations. Wow. So my name is Kia, Kia Smith. I have been a blogger for the last 8 years, but as of like the beginning of this month, I transitioned into being an author. So I actually just wrote a book. It's out for sale on Amazon right now. And I talk a lot about mental health, relationships, love, um, unlearning toxic behaviors, just different things like that. So that pretty much, I think, sums me up. I'm from Chicago. Went to SIU in Carbondale. I miss being a sophisticated. I miss
Don't we all?
if you know me, you know. I definitely like to have fun. And fun has kind of like been on pause, but I am hopeful that outside opens up soon. But yeah, I write books and I twerk.
Nice, true. Yeah, so how have you been handling the quarantine? Like, how has, like, let's just talk about how's your mental health been like during this stage?
I think it varies.
Hmm.
Like I'm I'm a person that's ambiverted. So that just means the person who is both introverted and extroverted. In
Hmm.
certain settings, either the extrovert side comes out or the introvert side comes out. So unless I'm out, I'm usually at home, or when I was working, I was at work, and I just pretty much, that was like my normal routine. But like now that the routine has been completely interrupted,
Hmm.
um, I it varies day by day because I had to essentially develop a whole new routine. So it's like,
Right,
okay, am I gonna sleep all day today? Or am I gonna get some work done? Am I gonna like come into my home office and
right.
like, or just do work in my bed all day? or I'm not gonna watch Netflix and Hulu all day. So it's been really interesting, mentally and emotionally, because like the holiday just passed, Easter just passed, and that's like a really big
Right.
different holiday. I wasn't able to go and see my mom and my stepdad, or see my
Mm-hmm.
dad and the kids and stuff like that. So I'm just like, this is different. Like, it's really
Right.
different. I can't, I just accomplished something really, really big, and I can't celebrate, in the way that I would want to. And it's just like this. It's just really different. It's not a super hard adjustment for me personally,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm always at home. But even like just noticing how different outside was. Like today, I
Yeah.
went to Walmart. And while even going to Walmart is so different, like they are making us stand in lines, letting in only a few
Yeah.
people at a time. When you're in the line to check your stuff out, you got to be 6 feet apart.
Right.
Everything is missing. Hell, even Dollar Tree is like
Yeah, I
temporarily
saw
closed
that.
right now on 47. And I'm just like, this is so wild, because a month ago things were not like this, and it's just crazy to me just how life can like drastically change
Right.
as quickly as you blink.
Out of
So
nowhere.
out of nowhere. And so it's been a hard adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I'm getting used to it, but I don't really want to get used to it.
Right. You don't want to get stuck in that pattern, and then the world changes again, and we're back outside, and you're just stuck to like being in the house and all of that. So it's like it's just so weird that like it came at this time, and it just like it sucks because like I know your event was right before, like was it right before the quarantine had started,
Yeah,
like the
it was
weekend
literally,
before?
my event was March 15th. My birthday was March 17th. I
Right.
had a big plan. Like, everybody was going to meet me at Beer Bar.
Hmm.
We was going to drink, and I was, just different things like that.
Right.
Completely different.
I got you.
Completely
Yes.
different. Did not do any of that. Still had a really great time for my birthday. But then it was like, oh, everybody needs to practice social distancing. Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, like, you really should self isolate. And I'm just like,
Yeah, it's so hard. Yeah, and it's like I feel like it's a strain on people's mental health sometimes because like especially for me, and I'm introverted, I like to just stay in the house, but it's the difference between like having to stay in the house and wanting to stay in the house, and like
yeah.
I've been like bouncing off the walls because it's like I like it's like when I want to stay in, I want to stay in, but now I'm being forced to stay in. So it's like I gotta find something new every day to do. Like it's so hard not to order food just because like I don't want to go outside. Like I've been to the grocery store at least like 20 times in the
The
past like
grocery
three
store is
weeks.
honestly like the highlight of my day now. Like,
Yeah,
literally, I am going to the grocery store. Like, okay, I need to take order. Because, I mean, that's
yeah,
like the highlight of my day. Because it's like, if you can't do nothing else, where the hell can you go? You
right.
know? So it's just so weird. Like, this new normal is just like really, really weird. I don't prefer it.
Right.
I would love for things to go back to a sense of normalcy, but like, I don't
Mm.
think like things are gonna be the same when outside does open up.
Yeah, it's gonna be completely different, and I'm glad, like they're taking like certain businesses, like my therapist's office, they're offering like video therapy or like teletherapy or however you want to do it, which is at
Mhm.
least like, at least people can still get help that way.
Yeah, my therapist is actually also offering like the same thing. So our last two sessions have actually been over video, and it's been
Mm.
interesting. It's been cool. I'm just a person who really, really values just in person connections. Like, I
Yeah,
don't want my connections with people to just be online. You know?
right. You want that face to face interfacing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um. So let's talk about the book. Let's talk about what made you start this book. What do you hope to accomplish with the book? Let's dive into that.
So the book, well, before we talk about the book, we have to talk about Write Yourself a Love Letter Challenge in itself.
Right.
So, 4
Oh,
years ago,
yeah. Okay. You go ahead, but I just want to put like a spotlight on your event when she like
yeah,
get
I'm gonna
done.
talk about
Yeah.
that. So 4 years ago, I was in undergrad. It was the summertime. Summer 2016 was possibly the worst summer of my life, just emotionally. But every summer I feel like just be really, really wild. But
Right.
summer 2016, like really, it's a pivotal year for me in my adulthood. I was 22, living in Carbondale, going to school, and I was taking a class on social media and just how people interact with it and just different things like that. And we had an assignment where we had to choose a platform, come up with a campaign, and basically analyze how people interacted with that campaign.
Okay.
Now, I had been blogging for 4 years by 2016, and I shifted from being a hip hop blogger, Queen K, to
Right.
just Kia Smith Writes like 2 years later in 2014. And when I shifted, I started talking about just like a lot of lifestyle topics.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of love, a lot of relationships. I was giving my opinions on different things that were going on in pop culture and society and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think my readers really got a chance to like dive into the mind of me and experience life how I was experiencing life. And
Mm-hmm.
so when my instructor gave us that assignment that we had to come up with a campaign, I just kind of like went searching and did some research, like,
Mm-hmm.
what are people talking about? What do people care about? I was on Facebook heavy back in 2016.
Right.
And so I noticed that around that time, there were a lot of challenges going on. So like
Mm-hmm.
the real hair challenge, the no makeup challenge, the, post whatever challenge, and like people were
Mm-hmm.
participating in these challenges and interacting with each other and just different things like that. But because I was a person who loved to talk about relationships and like
Mm-hmm.
I like to ask really, really deep questions, if you
Right.
know this. Um, and so I was just like, I don't really see nobody talking about self-love. I'm going through a journey because at that time I was just going through things that showed I was not properly loving myself. Like I didn't have any love for myself at all. And you can tell, hey Dage, you can tell, you could tell because of just how I was allowing people to treat me.
Mm-hmm.
Certain self-destructive behaviors I was engaging in, a lot of self-sabotage, like a lot of that was
Mm-hmm.
going on in 2016. So I was just like, you know what? I'm a writer. I love to write. So I am going to create a challenge called Write Yourself a Love Letter Challenge. And it was
Mm-hmm.
very, very simple. What you had to do was you had to post a picture of yourself, write a love letter, tag me, boom. That was the challenge. And so I kicked it
Right.
off with my blog because I wrote a love letter to myself. And I had never did anything like that before on my blog. Like I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
transparent on my blog, but I don't think I had that first letter. Like I was just like really, really transparent. And so from there, it was like a domino effect, right? And more people started doing it, and more people was tagging me, and it like caught on. Now it sounds super simple. Like it's all you got to do is like post a picture,
Right.
write nice things about yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was so hard for a lot of people. Like the feedback that I got
Mm-hmm.
was very interesting and like just really, really mind-boggling. Like a lot of people wanted to do it, but did not know what to say about the
Right.
a lot of people did not want to post publicly because that was just being too vulnerable.
Right.
A lot of people just really struggled, affirming themselves because it's very easy to name all the things that's wrong with you. Like if I say, Dad, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You could give me a laundry list of things, but if I be like, okay, Dad, like, what do you love about yourself? You probably,
Mm-hmm.
like back in the day, you will probably pause and look at me
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
Like, what you mean what I love about myself? And like, just different things like that. So that was summer 2016. I had got a really, really great reaction. It went kind of viral. And I say viral because while I didn't break the internet or anything, just a lot of people did it. And it was created with women
Mm-hmm.
in mind, but also some of the guys did it too. And I was just like, the following year, February, Valentine's Day in 2017, I used to volunteer for an organization called the Women's Center in Carbondale. Now, this organization services women who are survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, something that I personally identify with. What's up, Meech? I personally identify with domestic violence is something that I know a lot of men and women go through, and so I was a long time volunteer for them. Like I did the training to be able to what was it called? I forgot, but I did the training just to be able to provide resources to people who have been sexually assaulted or abused. The program coordinator at the time, Nancy hit me up on Facebook and was like, Kia, I saw your Write Yourself a Love Letter challenge that you did last summer, and I would love for you to come and present it as a workshop for the women on Valentine's Day. Never had facilitated anything before, so I did not know what I was doing.
Right.
And I went, I agreed to do it, and I went, and we just, we talked about self-love, and it was so interesting that it was on Valentine's Day because Valentine's Day is heavily marketed towards couples, women. So it's not really marketed towards single people. Like you're not talking about self-love. Like that's an unheard of concept for Valentine's Day, right? And so we talked about, you know, just healing. Like how do you, if you've been sexually assaulted, how do you find ways to love yourself after that? If you've been domestically abused, how do you find ways to love yourself out of that? And that when I say those stories was so powerful, just like the progress that these women were making despite like all the things that they have been through, it was honestly amazing. And so after that, we wrote love letters. Some people did poems. Some people sung songs. It was really, really beautiful. So that was like the first time, and 2017 was like the first time I ever facilitated and thought about like, you know, turning into a workshop. Later in 2017, I graduated and I moved back home to Chicago that summer 2017. The following year in 2018, I was sitting up and I was just like, you know, I'm back home now. I'm still blogging. I'm still, you know, this social person in the city, but how do I get reacclimated to the city? Because I've been gone for 5 years, essentially. Like I would come home for breaks here and there, but I had to start over. And so I was just like, you know what? I really want to do an event, but I didn't know what type of event that I wanted to do. And so I was just like, I really feel like God really whispered in my ear, and he was just like, you're going to do Write Yourself a Love Letter Challenge, but you're going to turn it into a self-love workshop and you just see how it goes. So I researched, I found a venue. My original date that I was supposed to have Write Yourself a Love Letter Challenge, the first one was supposed to be February 12th, I think, but Chicago had a really bad snowstorm.
Oh,
You remember that snowstorm of 2018?
I'm
Chicago
trying to.
had a really, really bad snowstorm, and my event had to get postponed, and I was so salty. I was so sad. I was so salty. I was just
I remember.
oh
I
my
remember
God,
that day now.
You remember that?
Yeah, because it was the day after my birthday, so it was
Yeah, so I was just like, man. So I had to reschedule, and I had it March 3rd, and it was dope. Like a few people came through. I had the guys talking. My male friends were there talking about self-love. And it was, my mom talked a lot. People were crying. Like it was beautiful. Like I read my love letter to myself. Now the difference between that first workshop I facilitated and the first official event that I had was that at my events, so it's workshop style. So we have a really big group discussion where basically I'm giving people a platform and a chance to share their thoughts and their experiences on self-love. It's a space where we're thinking about why we do certain things that we do. but also what have we seen or experienced in childhood and early adolescence, our different relationships that we may have been in that influence us. Like what influences us to love other people and love ourselves a certain type of way. And
Right.
so, and then of course, you know, the challenging part is you have to write a love letter to yourself. And if you want to, you read it out loud. I always read my letters out loud to myself. So that was 2018. 2019, I did it bigger and better. I had it on my 25th birthday and I added more elements to it. Like it was more visual. So people were able to actually see the questions.
Right.
Also, during that time of between 2018 and 2019, organizations started contacting me to come and facilitate my workshop to like their groups. So I've done it for organizations like City of Chicago, another organization called Circles and Ciphers. I've done it for an organization called Breakthrough Ministries. I've done it this year. I was able to come and do it for the high school girls at Marshall High School out west.
Okay.
And you know, I've done it. I used to work in education, so I've done this workshop with 7th and 8th grade students. I've done it with my 2nd and 3rd grade students.
Right.
So it's really something that can transcend like different age groups. And then this past year, which I feel like is the best year yet, year 3,
Because I
I
was
had
there.
it March 15th, a whole entire month ago, and it was beautiful. Now, the book came about because I always knew I've always been a writer.
Mm-hmm.
Always been a writer. Always, even before blogging. Like, I think I started writing stories in like 1st or 2nd grade, filling up notebooks, different things like that. And that's great. Both y'all skin looks great. Thank you, Leo.
Thanks, Leo.
Thank you.
I appreciate the gas, Leo.
I have no type of secrets or anything as far as this ring light is nice. Okay, I'll let you know that. But
This is true.
I've always been a writer. I've always been a person who came up with stories. I would let my friends read them, just different things like that. And I always knew I wanted to write books. Like I always knew I wanted to write books. I always knew I was gonna write a book. I just did not know when. And so really in 2017, I remember a status I wrote on Facebook one day, and I was just like, you know, I really want to write a book, but I'm not really sure where to start. I'm gonna just sit back and let it come to me, like let God tell me when. I started writing this book November 30th, 2018. It was like I was on my computer one day, and then God was like, pull up Google Drive, Google Docs, started typing. It took me till April 1st of this year, 2020, to finish writing this book. And it took me, I don't know if that's a long time, if that's a short time. Like I wasn't consistently adding pages to it. I think maybe like a whole year possibly went by because before I started writing in it again, because I remember like December of 2019, like between November and December of 2019, I just started getting more serious about it because I was just like, you know what? I really, really want to publish this book. And at first I wanted to publish it on my birthday. I don't know what it is about me and wanting to do extravagant
Stuff on your
things on
birthday.
my birthday. But I had around that time, a couple weeks before, I had started a new job. I was still in the middle of event planning mode. And I was like, I am not, no. I procrastinated, I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
But then life started happening. And I guess a positive thing that's coming from this quarantine is that when I was working from home, I now have more time to work on my book. I didn't have the excuse of, okay, well, I'm at work all day from 8:30 to 5:30. I'm getting home at 6:30. I'm tired. You know, I don't really feel like working on this. Work from home was like, okay, yeah, you still got to work from 8:30 to 5:30. But, like, all you got to do is pick up your regular
Right.
and type. So I have like went missing from social media for like 4 or 5 days. My friends would not let me type in the group chat. They was like, every time I would try to type something, they was like, "Kia, get out! You gotta finish this book."
Right.
You know, and then at 12:32 a.m. on April 1st, I finished. Like, I
Okay.
finished. I locked in and I finished. And it does not feel real, but it is very real. Like, I'm an author now, and yeah, here we
Well,
are.
I want to congratulate you again. I know personally, like your struggle, your journey. We talk almost every day, if not every day. And it's just amazing to see you grow as a person. And a lot of people don't know. A lot of people that don't know us. The people that's on here that don't know us. I've known Kia for about, I want to say, I think we met in like 2012, 2013, something
Over
like
10
that.
years. Yeah.
Right. And then we always known each other. And then I want to say over these past 2 years, like we really like, or past year, however long it's been, we really kind of, I want to say like, we talked more and more. We started
Hey,
communicating more
Ashley.
and more. And I tell people I credit Kia because Kia is the reason that I started like my mental health journey. That a lot of people that I don't know about don't cry because I just did my makeup. Um, but so this is why like I wanted to interview. I wanted you to be the first person on here because until like me and you talked, like I never really embraced like the fact that mentally I should probably like seek help. And like from there I started the blog post to this to like you even inspired me to do my own book, which is we talked about several times. And it's just I'm really thankful for you if you didn't know that. But yeah, so like I just
Don't
wanted
make
people
me
to know
cry.
like don't cry. Yeah, so I just wanted people to know that because you're a great person. And this is why this is the conversations that need to be had because us in the black community, especially males, we feel like it's a macho thing to do just to like brush off like things that are going on with us. And like it's been so many times that I would brush off like my mental health and be like, man, it's nothing. Like I'm not gonna sit around and cry about it. I'm not even about to think about it. Like it's just like that. So while we're on the subject of mental health, I want to talk about what was like your lowest point, like mentally, that like changed for you. Like what was that experience and like, and how did you pull yourself out of that hole if you did?
Ooh. So I know I talk about 2017, but like my freshman year of college, fall
Mm,
2012, talk about rapid change that is honestly traumatic. Um, I every issue you could think of happening freshman year in college, it happened.
mm,
Um, Family issues, financial issues, problems adjusting, roommate issues, just like
right.
all these different issues. And it became so bad to the point where I remember in like November 2012, like was like the first time like I seriously contemplated suicide.
Mm,
Like, and I know that's like such a taboo topic, but
right.
like one thing about me is that I'm gonna always keep it real. So like November 2012 was like the first time I uh seriously considered suicide. Like I had a whole plan in a sense.
Mm.
Um, but the thing about it is I'm scary. So and I'm super scary. I don't like blood. I don't really like pills. Like I stared at the pill bottle. I definitely don't. I was like, you
Right.
know what? I'm probably gonna take all of these ibuprofen, but then like I thought about it, I was like, what if you like wake up with a headache or something? That's
Yeah,
just
that's the worst that's gonna happen.
and you know me, I'm not into like hard drugs or anything like that.
Mm,
I don't self medicate with like alcohol or anything like that. So like when I feel feelings, I really be feeling my shit.
right.
And so I I remember I attribute this to saving my life. So I remember Kendrick Lamar's album Good Kid, Mad City had just came out. And I had it on repeat in my dorm room and stuff like that because it was just like a combination of things that just like weighed on me.
Mm-hmm.
And freshman year, the first semester freshman year, like when it was time to go home for winter break and stuff like that, I had like a .02 GPA or something like that. And I really wanted to drop out of college. Like I was convinced that I was dropping out of college. But I had family issues, so it's like I couldn't go back home. I ain't had nowhere to stay. I was dating somebody, and I was able to stay with him and his mom at his mama's house for, Christmas break or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
I had to go back to school, essentially. So I was just like, damn, like, how do I pull myself out of this? I have never experienced this a day in my life. Like, I am only 18 years old, and it feels like that first year of college aged me. Like, it took me through the
Gotta
ringer.
do it.
And I was just like, I don't really know what to do. And then at that point, I had to realize like what was my own strength. Like I went to college by myself. I didn't have friends. I didn't have like it was drama surrounding that. I didn't have like nobody older essentially looking out for me at that point. Like it was just me, myself, and I. And it was like probably the darkest, most loneliest moment, that I had in my life because it was just so new. It was so different. And that spring semester, so coming back in January, the new year came, coming back and going back to school 2013, it was just like, okay, I am going to try to take a handle on my life. So I think that was that the first time I started seeking? No, that wasn't the first time I started seeking therapy. But what it was, I started seeking out just better people to be around. Like I pushed myself to be social. I had, patched up some friendships that were like going through a misunderstanding. I tried my
Mm-hmm.
best to resolve some family issues that I was going through. But that was like the first pivotal moment. Went back home. My grandmother actually passed away.
Oh wow.
February of 2013. So still in my freshman year, but my grandmother passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really good with death. Not really good with it. Don't really process things like I guess in the normal sense. I really don't know.
Right.
But my grandmother died. And one of the last things she told me before she passed away was like, finish school. She was very much so team kid, team education. Like I really feel
Right.
like she was in the physical form now. Like she would just be so proud of me. At least I hope she's proud of me. And so I was just like, I had to deal with that too. And just like a couple more traumatic things, just really different things. Like I was in a couple different like relationships at that time where that just wasn't
It wasn't it.
it wasn't it. It was not it at all. And I that summer came around and I had like my first emotional breakdown, mental breakdown,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to call it. And essentially I was with my boyfriend at the time. I had got up normally one day and I was just like, okay, like, let's go see my granny. And like, and he like looking at me and he like watching me get dressed and everything. And he was just like, Kia. And I'm like, what's up? Like, you ready to go? Because I'm ready to go. And he was like, you talking about going to see your granny, but like your granny passed away in February, blah, blah, blah. I broke.
Mm.
And like that was because at her funeral, I did not cry. I avoided seeing the actual casket going, that's my cousin saying that. Thank you, cuz. She's smiling right now. She is proud of you. Don't make me cry, man.
She definitely is.
But I broke because at the funeral I avoided seeing the casket go in the ground. I think I hid in the funeral. I hid in the funeral home actually. I was
Mm-hmm.
cracking jokes at the funeral because humor is a coping mechanism,
Yeah, and
So
I
it's
got that
like
bad.
if I can make a joke out of it, I'm cool. Like I'm cool.
Right.
So once I realized, like, yeah, she really was gone. What's up, Peaches? She really was gone and stuff like that. It was just like, damn. And so that was like the first time, like with my like, cause and then I think I cried because it was just like a combination of just everything I had went through over the past 9 months, being away at school. I was still having family issues, still not in a really healthy relationship. Like, it was just wow. It was really, really wild. Going back to SIU, I decided not to drop out. I decided to keep going to school, even though I was on
We've all been there.
And you know, still had like situations where it was just hard. Like, it was hard, but like something about me that I really, really love about myself. Like, I stayed 10 toes down. Period. I am not a person who, like, yeah, I be going through stuff, like really, really hard stuff, and I like disassociate and not process things right away. But one thing about me is, like, I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna throw the towel in. Like, life hits really, really hard for sure, but I feel like I hit back hard. So it's kind of just like, okay, yeah, I got these little issues, and I'm not healed from them and different things like that. But I'm in my early 20s. No, I wasn't even in my 20s yet. I was like 19. I was just like, yeah, I'm 19 and I'm still trying to figure this out. And, I'm not going to break the promise that I made my grandma, which was, to finish school. The second major thing that happened was just like a couple things that happened in 2016 when I really realized that I wasn't loving myself. I really realized that I was just letting people do anything, like just treat me any type of way. Like, I had felt so low about myself, and I just did not understand why. And so, and then in turn, I also was, to be accountable, I also was hurting people too, because I did not
hurt
love
people.
myself
Hurt people.
I didn't love myself enough to be honest about what I wanted. I couldn't be honest with other people, and it just sucked. It sucked really, really bad. And so I had, I kind of had another emotional breakdown, and I was just like, you know what? I think it's time for me to seek therapy for real this time, because I think in 2014, the first time I went to go seek therapy, we had the health center on campus. The first time I went to go seek therapy, they do something. For those of y'all who don't know how therapy goes, so before you seek a therapist, they do something called an intake, where they ask you a series of questions to basically figure out, why are you here? Why are you seeking mental health services? And then determining your need, they set up appointments with you for a therapist, and y'all create a schedule, action plans, different things like that. So it was a little white girl who was doing my intake. She had to have been like a grad student or something like that. Like, she couldn't have been a therapist. And I really hope to this day, like, this bitch don't have a therapist license, because this lady looked me in my face and she was like, oh, so hey, why are you here? And I was like, yeah, I'm just dealing with a lot of emotional issues. And I told her, I went down the whole spiel. This lady cut me off and she looked me in my face and said, well, it doesn't look like anything's wrong with you.
Man, if I had $1 for every time somebody said that to me, I kind of hate when people say that. Like, I mean, it's kind of like, oh well, in that setting, that was just plain ignorant of her to do that. But humans, like certain people, like you said, like me, my defense mechanism is like, when something's wrong with me, I crack jokes, and I do this like all of the time. So like, people never know what you're going through, because like you hide it so well, and you really don't want anybody to know. Especially me, like when I'm going through it, like I guarantee you, I'm somewhere cracking jokes. I'm laughing at something. Like, I'm trying to get myself out that mode. But yeah, that's just like, and shout out to the colleges that do offer free therapy on campus.
Well, I don't think mine was free. I think SIU was charging us like $6, but it was way cheaper than how much therapy costs now.
All I'm saying is that Western Illinois University, it was free. Shout out to Latinx, neck up. But yeah,
But so she looked me in my face and she told me that it didn't look like anything was wrong with me. And I swear to God, I looked at her and I was just so taken aback, because I was just like, because there's a number, now that I'm more mature now, first of all,
right.
19. I was 19 or 20. Second thing I should have did was I should have pushed back on that because that's bias. And like if you're serving people, you should not have outward biases. And this is why that stigma, it doesn't look like anything is wrong with you, is the reason why Black people are so hesitant. One of the reasons why Black people are so hesitant in seeking therapeutic services now, mental health services now, because people assume that we are very strong, we are, super resilient, we don't feel pain, we have a high tolerance of pain. And these white people who are in charge of providing mental health services capitalize off of that and make Black people who are seeking services feel like shit. This is why it is so important for Black therapists. It's so important for Black people to become. If you are a Black therapist or you are studying therapy, psychology, whatever the case may be, please understand that you are needed. Okay? The work that you're doing matters. Because for that little bit, like I still get mad about it to this day because it's just so wild to me. Like, how can you sit up and look someone in their face and say it does not look like anything is wrong with you? So I walked out of that office, G, and I did not get help. And I really needed help, Dad. I really needed help. I had emotions that I could not even name, couldn't process, couldn't regulate. I still was engaging in really self-destructive behaviors. I was being extremely reckless with my body, with my spirit, just all types of shit. I needed help. And that lady, she stereotyped me for no reason. And it took me almost 3 years to step foot back into the office, and I did some research. So by that time, by 2016, 2017, I did some research, and I was like, okay, it's okay to ask for a therapist who looks like you. It's okay to ask for, a therapist who specializes in these type of things. This is what you should ask for. This is the language that you should ask for. This or the language that you should use when you are seeking these mental health services. And so my first therapist, she was a Black woman. Her name was Simone, and we did a lot of work. I used to go see Simone every week, every Thursday, every single Thursday. Used to go see her. I saw her up until it was time for me to graduate, and we did a lot of work, and that really helped me on my journey.
Let me ask you this before you go. Talk about the first time, like leaving therapy, how you felt, and then how you walked out the last session, since I know you had ended with her. Like, talk about the difference and like what you realized in yourself and how much you learned from going to therapy.
I learned that the first time, how I felt walking out, I felt relieved in a sense. I think I cried. And I am not much, I be crying. Like, I really do be crying, but I really try not to cry.
Right.
But I cried. I had a headache, but I also felt relieved. And I was like, she just gave me confirmation. Like, you know what? You don't have to seek their mental health services just because you feel like you're crazy. But even if you are real life crazy, because there are real life crazy people out here, or I ain't just crazy. Like, hey,
hey Tay, nice to see you, brother.
Hey, Tay. Even if you are you have severe mental health issues, it's okay. Like, if you are battling some of the scarier mental health issues like bipolar disorder, mood disorder, schizophrenia, different things like that, it's okay to talk to somebody and seek some help for it. Or if you are a person who does not necessarily suffer from the safer ones, which is anxiety and depression, just the ones that are more normalized, it's also okay to talk to someone, because everybody deserves to talk to someone. You also do not have to seek mental health services just if you feel like something is wrong. Like, a lot of people are under the misconception that something has to be wrong with you in order to seek some mental health services. That's not true. You could just want to talk some things out and listen to get an unbiased, I guess, opinion when seeking your mental health services. Like therapy, I wish therapy was more high diamond. I wish therapy was more accessible to people, because there's a lot of people in our neighborhoods, people that we know, who not only have undiagnosed mental health issues, but also just a lot of trauma, a lot of unhealed, unresolved trauma that makes it so freaking hard for people to live their life on a day-to-day. And it comes out in the ways that we love ourselves, for one, the way that we choose to love others, the way that we carry ourselves, just our self-esteem, just different things like that. Like mental health plays a very big role on pretty much any and everything that we do. But that last session with my therapist when I was in college, I feel like I had made a lot of progress. I was able to like name a lot of emotions and just get comfortable with being vulnerable, because that was always a struggle for me. Like I did not know how to be vulnerable. I did not know how to be transparent. I didn't know how to do nothing, you know. Oh shit.
Technical difficulties.
my ring light died. But
oh man, I hate to see it.
But we that. I didn't know how to do any of that, but therapy really helped me. Therapy helped me mature in a sense. I still use humor as a coping mechanism, but I'm also able to just express myself. And writing and journaling, you know, I'm a really big advocate for writing and journaling. I will always tell you, well, did you write about it? Did jot your feelings down, Dad? You know,
this is true.
like journaling is really good at helping you self-reflect and identify, you know, just what you're going through. And like when you go back and read that shit, you will be amazed. Like, damn, I really went through this, but like I'm not going through this anymore. And it's always a really amazing journey for me.
Right. Yeah, because my type of journaling, how I write is, I write poems. So like I sit down and write like just like, so one of the things I feel like when I'm going through it, the first thing, especially when I was at work and, we worked at the same place, so how like the same stresses and everything that like I went through. I would sit at my desk, and ironically, this notebook I had was from there. I would take these notebooks because they were free. I would take them and legit, like write. I would just write it down. Like I would write anything down, and like whatever thoughts come to me, I would write, because I think when I went to my first like intake for like going like therapy, the assistant therapist, like whatever, like the person that was in grad school learning, she was telling me it's really good to write, because in writing, your mind basically goes to the pen and everything else just like gets just like washed away. Like your thoughts go straight into writing and doing that hand movement. So I feel like, yeah, that's like how I like pretty much do it. Which is like the greatest way to pretty much, like, people don't realize, like, when you like, even if you sit right down and like doodle something when you going through it, like you feel so much better, because it take your mind off of it and you just focusing on what you're doing. So yeah, let me as we got a few more questions and then we're gonna wrap up. So tell me what great mental health looks like to you.
What does great mental health look like to me? Well, mental health is on a spectrum, right? You could be cool one day, like you could be absolutely cool one day, and then you could be not cool. Like, for example, in the past week, going on maybe two, so I started a new job in March. by last Thursday, I woke up.
Shout out to Yelp. There's a bunch of former Yelp employees in here listening right now. Shout out to
Last
everybody that worked at
Thursday,
Yelp.
I woke up, G, and I had gotten laid off. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, whoa. And I had always kept a couple jobs. So ever since Corona hit, Miss Rona, she has been trying to fuck up my dad because I
Yeah.
got laid off from my other job. They had to let us go. I got laid off from Yelp. And then a friend of mine, unfortunately, was murdered.
Yeah, I did see that.
And I have like I've been having a hard time, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
because first of all, I've never lost a friend from gun violence. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
lost people before, but I've never lost a friend from gun violence. I've never had to deal with that emotion, and something that people in Chicago typically, or in any urban city, honestly, something that we all have in common is like we are trauma bonded in the sense of a lot of us know somebody or have directly or indirectly dealt with losing someone to gun violence. I never was a part of that until what's up, boo? I never was a part of that until no, not that. No, that's just my
No
friend.
judgment free zone.
I never was a part of that until last week, but my friend was murdered, and so like my
Mm-hmm.
mental health is like been on the up and down because it's like I'm having the happiest moment of my life. Like I just accomplished a lifelong dream. You know, I'm an author now. Like this is something
Mm-hmm.
I always knew that I was gonna do. But also I'm having like the saddest moment of my life because I'm mourning the death of my friend. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and it's just like, and then I'm isolated. You know, so like grieving while quarantining also is some wild ass shit. So I think great mental health looks like when you acknowledge like the highs and the lows. Like something me and my
Mm-hmm.
dad talk about all the time is that it's okay not to be happy all the time. Like it is
Mm-hmm.
literally okay not to be happy all the time. Like it's some shit called toxic positivity where it's like, oh, positive vibes only, good vibes only, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. Like, be happy, look on the bright side. Sometimes you just can't look on the bright side, damn it.
Yeah,
Ain't no bright
that's
side to
true
look at. Sometimes
at
you
all.
just can't. And I really had to, like, kind of, like, shift my focus and, like, really just understand sad as hell. It's okay for me to be sad as hell and happy as hell at the same time because that's just
Mm-hmm.
life. It's nothing wrong with acknowledging that yes, I've accomplished something and I'm happy with myself and I'm at peace. But also, I'm sad as hell. I have anxious moments. Some days I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to shower. I don't want to do my hair. I don't want to do shit. You
Mm-hmm.
know? And it's just like, it's okay. You know, and like if you watching this and you have these moments too, just like understand that it's okay. Good mental health is acknowledging both the happy parts and the not so happy parts because that's just all a part of being human. You don't have to deny yourself of human experiences and just going like regulating your emotions, just like Tay just said. You don't have to suppress that. You don't have to deny that. You
Mm-hmm.
like yes, there are still things to be grateful for, and yes, there are still things to be happy for. But sometimes you gotta fight a little bit harder to have that balance. You know, and I
Right.
think that's what good mental health looks like. It's just like acknowledging the balance, acknowledging that there's not just one side to the coin. Like it's just not one story. There are multiple stories
Right.
that all connect to each other.
Got you. And I know you talked about writing, but what other ways, what is like like, well, let me ask you this, what do you do for self-care? What do you do like when you like having a bad day and you feel like yourself about to like hit that moment where you feel like you're about to be stressed, like depression, anxiety, like what do you do to get yourself out of that funk?
Lately I have been really into running baths and lighting my candles. Now that I have the time to, again, shout out to Miss Rona. You know,
Right.
um, I spend a lot of time with myself. So lately I have been into just lighting my candles, cooking me a good meal. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can cook. And sometimes, like, I don't like to order out all the time, you know. So I would cook me something like I want to eat that's savory, that's good to me. I'm nourishing my body. Sometimes I'll call up a friend or type in a group chat for laughs. Twerking is self care for me for sure. Like me and
We
you
know
argue about it
you
all the time,
twerking
but
in TikTok.
twerking is self care. Okay, it is self care, but no, I write. You know, I just write my thoughts out because I'm a person who really just like be sitting with her feelings. I drink some wine. Um, I'll go for a walk. Like I will take a nap.
Man, them nuts
Look,
be
naps are
undefeated.
like those are just like a few things that I do to take care of myself and like keep my mental health in check. And then I check in with myself. And checking in with yourself is basically having conversations with yourself and asking yourself, like, okay, well, how am I feeling today? Well, why does this make me feel this way? What's triggering me? You know, and like really just like
Right.
being in tune with yourself and checking in, getting to know
I
you.
got you.
And we ain't got nothing but time. So if you ain't
Man,
doing it, just start.
man, that's very true. So one of the last questions I want to ask you, um, it literally slipped my mind because my neighbors were making noise. But what advice could
Hey
you
girl.
give? What advice could you give to all of the people that are watching this, all the people that will see this? What advice do you have to them and like those people that are like scared to share their story, scared to like talk about it and are dealing with their own mental health? Like, what do you want to say to them to like boost them up and let them know how important it is to take care of yourself?
Well, I think the first thing I would ask them is, oh, thank you, Keisha. Thank you. I think the first thing that I would ask them is, well, why are you scared? Are you portraying some type of image and you feel like acknowledging your fear is not lining up with the image that you have created for yourself?
Uh-huh.
Like, where is this fear coming from? And then honestly, you gotta get like I've always been a person that self reflects and is extremely self aware. So, but I know that a lot of people do not have this ability or do not tap into that ability. D,
Hmm.
I am ready for you. I'm so ready to like just see y'all reactions. Like people have been ordering, and I'm excited to see y'all reactions to it.
Yeah.
But a
And I
lot of
just want
people
to
don't
let
know. But
everybody. Oh yeah, I just want to let everybody know that I actually read the book like a while ago, so I had like the
you
sneak
ain't read the
peek.
finished version though.
I mean, I read like the majority of it, but I just want everybody to know like it's really good and it makes you think. I don't want to go into like too deep about it because I want you to explain it, but it's a very good book and it's so beautiful like to see somebody that you know to actually write a book. Like it's different when you buy a celebrity's book, but like yeah. And I guess Instagram has a time limit, so I guess you have a minute and 50 seconds left to
Oh damn. Okay.
yeah.
Well, the advice I would give people is figure out why you're scared to be vulnerable. Find your tribe. Find your tribe of people. You will be amazed. Like I have my tribe of go-to people. I'm still in therapy, so I definitely be
Mhm.
talking my therapist ears off. Um, my book is out now. If you go to
Right.
the link in my bio, Amazon pushed my release date up. So it was supposed to drop the 17th, but I've been quietly telling people that it's out. It's out. Link in my bio if you want to buy it. It's available on Amazon. What else? And I'm super excited. I'm an author now. Meet me on Instagram Live Friday at 2 p.m. We're gonna do a virtual toast since I can't have my book
We in
signing
there.
release party. Can't have
Right.
my book signing release party yet, but on Instagram, meet me here at 2, and then at 7 p.m. on Facebook, I'm gonna go live again. Meet me there on 7 if you're my Facebook friend, and we're gonna do another virtual toast. And then as soon as outside opens back up,
It's
hopefully
lit.
June or July, I'm gonna have a official book signing release party. And I would love to see you all there and come celebrate with me because I'm really proud of myself for accomplishing
Right.
a lifelong goal.
So I want to appreciate you. I thank you for being the first person as we're wrapping up. I did not know Instagram had a time limit.
I didn't either.
Yeah, you find something out new every day. I appreciate you for joining us. Thank you for everybody that watched. I hope that you all take something from it. I hope that you all get Kia's book. Link in her bio. I'll post it on my page in the Semicolon the series page. So thank you all. Thank you. And until next time,
I appreciate
friends.
you. And also,